Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
At Enterprise, we know you're constantly on the move. Getting this?
Thanks, Mom.
Fixing that. You reach a destination. And then it's on to the next. And when life is moving at the speed of, well, life, Enterprise is right there with you. Around the corner and around the globe. We'll keep you moving forward. Enterprise. For lives in drive.
When the sun goes down but your symptoms pick up, reach for Mucinex Night Shift, uniquely formulated to provide fast, powerful cold and flu relief. Mucinex Night Shift fights your worst nighttime symptoms, so you can get to sleep and wake up ready to tackle the busy day ahead. Buy Mucinex Night Shift at your local retailer. Use as directed.
Barenaked, 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 ABCs.
Welcome to the Barenaked ABCs, where we make a trip down memory lane. In all the craziness over the last year, we missed a critical song that crept up on my radar last week as I was reviewing for an upcoming episode. I can't believe that I made this mistake. I really wish I hadn't. No, I mean, I really wish I hadn't. So before we go too far into this tonight, I do want to tell people who we have here tonight. So joining us tonight, let's go around alphabetically. We have
Aaron.
Oh, I guess I'm next. Bobby.
Michelle.
That's right.
Good to have you back,
do
Bobby.
an episode, a Blast from the Past episode, we have a Blast from the Past ourselves. We have Bobby joining us for
Bobby.
this week.
Woohoo!
Blast from the past.
And there was much rejoicing. Yay.
And we are going back this week to review a B song. We are going back to review Buddy Holly. So, Buddy Holly is a song from the Yellow CD Plus disc that we did not cover last year. I know. I did 6 months of research before we started this, and somehow I still missed the Yellow CD Plus. So, for those of you that don't know, the Yellow CD Plus was an album released 2 days after Stephen Page left the band. They were trying to bump up some publicity. They knew that he was going to be leaving, and they're like, this is going to be a huge hit for the fans, so we're going to release the Yellow CD Plus. But they didn't release it on vinyl or cassette, so I'm waiting for that to happen. They only released it on CD, and they only made 10 copies. So that's why it's really hard to find.
I thought, didn't they have an 8-track for that as well?
They might have. That would have made a lot of
They
sense.
had an 8-track release.
I thought I
think,
saw a reel-to-reel on eBay for that.
Oh,
Well, that might have been from the studio recordings. That's probably worth something right
that would be
there.
worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
So yes,
Very cool.
10 copies. Now, I don't understand the guys thinking on this, like, oh, let's release this CD to bump up our people listening to this for the fans, and we'll release 10. I don't understand their thought process, but anyways, so this was kind of like the Beatles anthology album for Barenaked Ladies. It was bits and pieces of their recording sessions that they did in Kevin's mother's parlor room during their first year together as they were finishing the touches on the yellow tape. So we have all these bit parts of songs, but they also had a few songs that they absolutely hated that they added to the CD for all of us big fans. Now, these are the songs that they did not want on the yellow tape, any of the 8 versions of the yellow tape. So, on this disc, which we'll be coming back to, is their version of Sugar Hill Gang's Rapper's Delight, which is not a delight. We have David Bowie's Space Oddity in a bluegrass version.
This is Ranger Tom Control. I'm forevermore. And I'm floating in a most peculiar way.
We have Queen's Don't Stop Me Now, which you will discover in a few weeks. I wish they had. And we also have, what was it again, Michelle?
I'm too sexy for my shirt.
I'm too sexy for my shirt.
Yeah.
That was all Steven, you know.
That was all Steven. And it was really an odd choice for Steven, just because of his voice. Like, that doesn't match his voice.
It is arguable whether or not he is, in fact, too sexy for his shirt, though. I'm just saying.
The recent concert, he took off his shirt. So I can say that he is too sexy for his shirt. But this wasn't the right song for him. But this week we're going to be talking about Buddy Holly, which was the other song that they put on this CD+.
Don't you ever fear I'm always there. I know that you need help. Your tongue is twisted, your arms are slit. You need a guardian. Ooh, and you know I'm yours.
So let's kind of get down to discussing this. Aaron, would you like to kind of do a breakdown of this song? Because
I guess. All right. So after careful analysis, this recording of Buddy Holly, it's somewhere between 60 and 120 beats per minute, somewhere in that general vicinity. They were so out of tune, I question whether or not the song falls into a Western musical scale in general. So I'm just going to call it 12-tone. I'll say it was a 12-tone experimental kind of track, and there we go. It's I would say normally they're kind of they're prone to doing like an AABA or an AABA CABA abaca babaca kind of thing, but this was more of like a BLAH kind of format. I mean, and as for the form, the whole thing is
it took me a second to get that.
The whole thing is rather formulaic. I mean, if I'm being quite honest, it's a lot of 1-4-5. It's I think they were ripping off the Proclaimers with 500 Miles, if I'm being brutally honest. And I'm hearing a little bit of They Might Be Giants in there as well. So, that's the breakdown. That's my expert opinion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not much there this week there, Aaron, but that's an interesting breakdown. Wow.
Thank you.
Michelle, what was your take on this song?
Well, I feel like, this song is so representative of the album as a whole. It's all ego driven. So much ego. Like, there's no room for each person on this album. I don't know if, and I love Steven. We know I love Steven. But really, come on. And then the vocal battle that he has with Ed at the bridge, it's sort of like, what are you even doing? I love them. We know this is an established fact, but disappointment is too strong of a word.
Yeah, I wish there had been Mary Tyler Less.
Right, yes. Yes. And you nailed it with the, what did you say, the Proclaimers? Like, yes.
Yeah, it's very obviously stealing from the Proclaimers.
They wish they were the Proclaimers,
It's hard because Ed is so off-key. Like, Ed is never off. In this song, he is so off-key. Like, the high notes are just like, ugh. Like
he's trying too hard.
nails.
This is him competing for first chair. I'm making air quotes with Steven. You know what I mean? It's
getting flashbacks to Whiplash now.
I just...
It did not sound like Barenaked Ladies to me. It almost sounded like Weezer were hungover.
Yes.
And just kind of recording this in like an early demo or something.
Right.
It didn't even sound like... More like fully dressed men, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, and Tyler wasn't even in the song. Like, where was Tyler during this? There's no drums at all.
Yeah, once again, we see Tyler getting passed over for a drum machine or nothing. It's just really insulting to me as a drummer. # freedom for Tyler.
And there's only one guitar. I mean, Where's
right.
Jim?
Yeah, I don't know
Where's
what's going on
Steven?
here at
Like,
all.
why is no one else playing? And they didn't let
it's just
they didn't let Andy let loose on the keyboards even. Like, he has like a total, I think, 8 notes.
yeah. None of this screams BNL to me.
It's really disappointing.
Yeah, it reminds me of those old days when, I mean, not that I would ever have done this, but if someone were to have been on Napster or LimeWire or one of those file sharing services, yeah, honestly.
LimeWire. Holy moly is all I'm going to say.
Going back a ways on that one, huh?
Wow. Yes.
And you'd find a song or like something that would be like labeled under the wrong person, like a Henry Phillips song would be labeled as Weird Al, or like Dennis Leary rant would be labeled as George Carlin or something like that. You know, it just almost seems like it was mislabeled.
I mean, do your research, people.
I heard about these things. I have no idea. Yeah.
I've heard tell. Exactly.
But
My friend in Sweden.
we've been very vocal, but our guest has
Yes.
been very quiet. Bobby,
Bobby.
what is your? I know you love Weezer. Like, what's your opinion of this song?
Well,
Get ready for it. Here comes the haterade.
quite frankly, I'm rather surprised at the reaction here because, in my opinion, this was the best cover ever. Until, of course, Weezer's Teal album. But I'm saying, if we're talking about
What?
just amazing, doing tribute to Weezer, in fact, it's rare. I'm just saying, it's rare that you find a cover that's just as good, if not better, than the original.
Wow.
Wow. I feel like we're in the upside down. I don't know what's happening right now.
I have to disagree, Bobby. I mean, it sounded almost like Weezer. I feel like if you're going to cover a song, you should at least try and make it your own, you know?
I don't know.
Oh, they made it their own in like a totally like bad way.
All I'm saying is that I think I think Steven and the rest of the gang should at least get together and sort of, in the spirit of like Weezer's recent Teal album, they just do a complete like cover album of all Weezer songs. Because after hearing this,
Not with this side.
all I can like picture
Oh my.
in my mind is, similar excellent renditions of "Say It Ain't So" or even like the entirety of Pinkerton. I would die to hear B&L singing "Tired of Sex." You know, it would just be a dream come true. Dream come true.
I'm sorry, I'm getting
Are
a little
you
sick
okay,
over here,
Bobby?
Bobby.
I have to question, who are you and what have you
What's
done with
happening?
I'm quite frankly, I'm a little stunned that you guys had this reaction. We're talking about two powerhouses here. We're talking about BNL covering Weezer.
What did you like about this song?
What's not to like? It's for all time. It's just okay. You know that part in the song, the whole the bang bang, knock on the door, another big bang, get down on the floor, and all of that.
Yes.
For the first time, that made sense to me. I never understood that before until hearing it
So
this
you're
time
saying that
around.
the best part was the bridge?
Yeah, well, it was like a bridge over beautiful waters here. Because
not
exactly,
troubled waters.
because
Just really
I think in a
untroubled
way
waters.
their performance made clear what Weezer had intended all along. That's all I'm saying. I think so, because I'm an interesting person.
Interesting.
I don't even know what to say to this.
I know. I'm sort of stunned right now. We haven't seen Bobby
like a
in months,
bizarro
and he's.
world.
I mean, you love Weezer. How can you?
Exactly.
I don't know.
And that's why when someone does such a fine tribute to a band that I love so much,
But they changed some of the lines. They weren't even religious to the song. They weren't even they didn't stick to what the lines were supposed to be.
well, here's the thing, and I'm sure that Rivers would say the same thing. Lyrics are more like a guideline. They're kind of a
What's the matter, babe? Why don't you? I mean, that is way off. Like, what was he thinking?
That's got to be Steven's influence right there with the edgy
Well,
lyrics.
Just
Right. It was highly inappropriate.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I thought it was sort of
Might have
I
been the
thought it
coach
was sort
speaking.
of like romantic in context. I mean, who hasn't said that to a person they love? Really?
I have to say I haven't, Bobby.
What are you talking about? That's tattooed on your forearm, Tracy. Who are you trying to kid over here?
Yes, you outed me, Bobby. I have that tattooed on my forearm because it was a BNL lyric.
Oh my.
It is a better lyric than anything from Brian Wilson.
You know what they say about Brian Wilson. Actually,
He asked his wife, "Why don't?"
wow, is this an R-rated episode? My goodness.
It is now.
But I'm just, there's a shortage of songs from B&L that I would give 5 stars to, because I don't hand those out lightly. But I think I would throw it
Right.
out for this one.
Oh,
That's
oh.
for sure.
Do we want to get to ratings?
That's the problem, deal with angry people. They try to go it alone, digging in and making cranky feeble please that other angry disown.
We can.
I rated PG-13.
I couldn't get past the ego in the song, so I went for how many megalomaniacs do we give this song? But if anybody has a better category, then I'm happy to go with that.
How about how many...
Oh. Well.
Wow.
I just want to say, I'm not the one who said it first.
True. You're just carrying it along. Well, I'm not going to repeat it just because, but if that's what we want to go with, that's what we're going to go with.
Let's get to ratings.
Yes. So my...
Clearly 37 if we're doing how many.
What... This has gone downhill fast.
Oh, we've lost
I'm just
control
going to
of
cut to the...
podcast.
Kevin Smith, please come on the show. We love
Yeah,
you.
Kevin Smith is 1 week younger than I am, and
Oh,
he
my
and
goodness.
I always have felt like he was my BFF, and so he needs to come on, and we need to talk about being Leos, Gen X Leos. We need to talk about it. Anyway, so I'm going to say that I dislike this song probably equally as much as I disliked Another Postcard. So I'm giving this song a 1.
Ooh. Wow.
Well,
I guess we'll go to Aaron.
Well, Michelle, as per the usual, you and I are in lockstep, and
Yes.
this is a first here, my first ever on the history of the Barenaked ABCs. I am awarding Buddy Holly by Barenaked Ladies 1 5 potential, which I suppose is the metric we're using.
All I can
And-
say is, one still ain't bad.
It's been really nice, folks. I've really enjoyed our time doing this show.
Next
Now
week,
that
join
we're
us
dropped
as we
from
don't have
iTunes.
Bobby or Michelle on the podcast.
The FCC is going to shut us down.
I
real
just
quick,
want to
I think.
say, Tracy, you started it.
Who? We saw Tracy and Bobby to get through for ratings, so I don't know which one wants to go first.
Bobby, go ahead.
Bobby, let's hear your rating.
All right. Well, first, I want to say, I apologize for Tracy being so crude, listeners.
I did not
Thank
write
you.
the lyric.
I appreciate that, Bobby. That's apology accepted. It's awful when Tracy
You
acts
should
out
really
like
write
that.
to Tipper Gore, though.
Secondly, I'd like to say I agree about Kevin Smith. I don't know how much younger he is or older he is than me, but I do know he's had one more heart attack than I have. Thirdly, what? He has.
Always a pleasure having Bobby on the show.
Oh, I've missed you, Bobby.
Bobby, have you ever been the best man at someone's funeral?
If you can't understand what I mean, you soon will. But
I'm just trying to picture that speech.
thirdly,
Yowza.
to get to my rating, I just want to say I don't understand. Perhaps we all listen to different songs. I don't know. All I'm saying is the song that I listen to, it's like if you reach into the heavens and you pluck out a star and you take that magic and you put it in a jar and then you shake that jar a little bit and watch the magic fizz and then you take the magic and in your soul.
Oh.
And sometimes even
Oh.
Oh.
and that's the kind of magic that was in this song that we're reviewing tonight, which is why I am happy and honored, overjoyed, you might say, to give this song 5. Count 'em 5. 5. And I won't be crude like Tracy was earlier.
I was just reading the lyrics.
5, I will say 5. Five. Because that magic.
Are we gonna have to start calling you?
We're gonna have to call Bobby $5 Bobby from now on.
I was gonna ask if we're gonna have to start calling you.
Oh.
Right.
God.
So yeah,
Wow. How about you, Tracy?
I'm trying to recover here.
I feel like Gregory Peck in To Kill a Mockingbird. That was a beautiful speech I just made.
That deserves like a monologue for anyone who's ever going out for any play anywhere.
Yes.
I'm mad as
that
hell.
should be
damn
a
it.
traditional audition
Exactly.
piece. It's the gold
But
standard.
I don't think
now.
anyone can outdo the emotion that you put into that. I would dare say that Barenaked Ladies didn't even do anywhere close to the amount of emotion in this song that you put into your review.
It's almost like they didn't perform this song.
It's almost like they didn't. Matter of fact, my rating is how many times I wish that I had listened to this song, which is 0. Like it, I just wish that I had never found this.
We were never told that was a possibility.
And it gives me no hope on coming back later on to review the other songs. So that's my take on that one.
Wow.
I think that gives us an average of like 1.25.
Did you just say you gave it 0?
Yeah.
0?
I did. Yep.
You've been married
Bobby.
too long, man. What?
Oh, I did not know it would take this track. I should have known better. All right. Never bring up those lyrics ever again.
Is there anything usable left in this episode?
You wanted this.
I did. I asked for this episode.
You're such a stickler for details, Tracy. This is what happens.
This is all my fault. So, I have an appearance for this week. If you go on SoundCloud, I'm sorry, I'm trying to collect myself here. If you go on SoundCloud, there is a person on there called Cherry.Soda. She has copies of Ed Robertson singing. She found another disc, which I still have to verify, but it's only Ed Robertson, so it's not going to be on our podcast other than through this. She has copies of Ed Robertson from the CD called Mask the Pain and Fill the Void. No, do not go there. Don't go there, Bobby.
What?
But
Well, Filling the Void, aren't we part of the Filling the Void podcast?
we are part of the Filling the Void podcast. Exactly. Thank you, Aaron.
Well, where's your head at, Tracy? What were you thinking I was going
And
for?
so it's Ed Robertson doing copies of Alanis Morissette songs. So she has 3 different songs: Hands Clean, Head Over Feet, and Hand in My Pocket. Very interesting versions of these. I recommend going on her SoundCloud.
And Ed does these? Ooh,
Let's-
I'm
yes.
going to have to listen to that. I love Hands Clean. That's one of my favorites.
That is a good song. I like Hands Clean a lot
Oh,
myself.
and You Ought to Know. He also does a version of You Ought to Know.
Well, that is objectively the
Oh.
best Alanis Morissette song, although Uninvited is close.
That's true. I agree with you on that. Definitely. So that's what we've got for this week. We're going to return next week on coming back to, once again, Don't Shuffle Me Back. Sorry we had to shuffle that song back one in the order, but we're going to be doing Don't Shuffle Me
yeah.
Back next week. So thank you very much for joining us, Bobby. Appreciate your
His unique insight.
Insight.
Yes.
I still don't see how I'm being blamed for this episode taking a wrong turn. I did not say it first.
Tracy's gaslighting you.
Yeah. Yeah. How cruel.
So sorry. So thank you very much for joining us this week, and hopefully you will join us next week. And I almost forgot. April Fools!
Oh, well,
We got you
What?
big time. We weren't saying this whole time. We were saying Rick.
what? Wait a minute. Hold on a second here. What?
Yeah, we now it's the part where we let Bobby in on our little joke.
Exactly. But this was actually Weezer playing the song live in studio in the radio station.
But somebody uploaded it to YouTube and thought that it was Barenaked Ladies, so they put a little picture of the Barenaked Ladies in the background. It's really weird. There's some cognitive dissonance going on
It's
if you
very
watch it.
weird. It's very weird because you're looking at it and you're trying to hear them singing, and it's
You're like,
not
no.
them. This isn't right.
And for the record, I
wait.
really do like Weezer, especially the Blue album. There's a lot of good stuff that he done. Pinkerton's a good one too. But this is a really lo-fi recording.
And the version of Space Oddity that I added into tonight's podcast, that is not Barenaked Ladies either. That is actually Chris Hatfield doing his version
But you
of
should
Space
totally
Oddity.
watch that if you haven't. Chris Hadfield is an amazing human being, and it definitely is a very moving video to my nerdy
Yes.
heart.
Yeah. No, it's a very, very, very good video. So go out there and watch that. So join us next week when we have an actual song to review. And thank you guys all for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks. We'll see you next week. You must have had some kind of idea.